Konnichiwa, hajimemashite, konnichiwa desu. Now, before we get to the rest of the video, I hope you guys are doing well. I am recording on a Saturday afternoon, and basically I got bored because I've been locked down in my house for like the past 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, 2 weeks, and frankly, I kind of missed video making, and told to myself that I didn't really took advantage of the time to go back into World of Tanks Blitz and start recording again. Now, the thing is that I've been so busy a lot more recently this past month, because my job isn't really that much hard like you're going on like you're a construction worker or something, but it's as tedious enough because I really have to deal with a lot of clients. And this is real life already. Already finished college last year. So I'm very sorry if you guys weren't able to really get to see a lot more content a lot recently, and these are just one of the times that I really wish that I really had enough time and I was a little bit more entertaining, because I lack a lot of skills. I have to admit that I'm not that much of an entertainer. I'm not that much funny, but I still at least try to make ends with what I've got. I try to do at least a little bit of my best and whatnot. So I hope you guys understand, and I hope you guys stay safe. Now, you guys noticed that I'm actually wearing something a little bit different. It's because I'm wearing my World War II Canadian uniform. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's in. I'm using my selfie camera on my phone, so it may look a bit mirrored on you guys, but this is basically a patch of the of a Canadian Highlander regiment that I know from one of the Call of Duty games, and this is the patch of the 4th Canadian Armored Division or Infantry Division, or I think it was, at least back during World War II. The motive behind this uniform basically was my love for Call of Duty 3, and I think I still do own a copy. I still do own a copy. Yeah, I still do own a copy. And to be honest, that's really one of the best Call of Duty games I ever played. And one thing though is that the battle dress that was used that was used by the Canadian Army during World War II was greener. It wasn't brown like this, but it's very hard for me to find at least a green colored P-37 battle dress for at least for a Canadian Army impression, so I ended up buying a British issued P-37 uniform, and I'm very glad that it actually looks great. The details are very nice, the buttons are sewn nicely. I don't really mind if this shade was a lot darker, but to be honest, I'm very, very satisfied anyways. And you can't forget that I also wore the webbings here, some ammo pouches, and it also came with a small pack in the back to put some of the mess tins and whatnot. So, anyways, the reason why I wore this uniform was at least to make a little bit of a different feel to the video as well. And speaking of which, I bought this uniform because I wanted to get into reenacting, but the problem is, at least here in the Philippines, no one basically does British impressions a lot. That British, Canadian, Australian, no one really does that. Mostly it's either Filipino, American, Japanese, or German. But my God, give some love for the British, for the love of God. So another thing about why I also got into reenacting was I wanted to do some airsofting, because back when I was really young, when I was like about 10 years old, my Japanese stepfather gave me my very first airsoft gun, which was a Tokyo Marui Steyr AUG, but sadly I've already sold that because it was just something that I didn't really feel like doing, but I wanted to go a bit more into the World War II side, because that was what I really wanted to do. So another thing to that this video will do is that I'm going to share what I've been collecting for my arms. So here's the first one, the 455 Webley. Oh my god, this Webley was made by Wingun. It's a Taiwanese company, I believe, and these things are really hard to come by. And the good thing about about this replica is that when you eject it like this, all of the shells come out, and my god, I need to pick those shells up after this video. So kudos for Wingun. I absolutely love this. I did use it in the field once, and frankly, I actually regretted breaking the revolver up so I can eject the spent shells when I realized that I didn't have any backup shells with me. Another thing that I also have here is my M1903 Springfield. This is the A3 version, as you can see with the simple sight over there. This Springfield was made by G&G. It's another Taiwanese company. Though originally I wanted to buy a Lee Enfield an airsoft Lee Enfield rather. But the thing is that there's only like two manufacturers making the Lee Enfield, namely RWA and KTW. KTW is made in Japan, but the thing is, it costs all about $1,400. Aye. So, and the RWA was garbage in terms of the spring, so I ended up opting for a Springfield. I really had no choice. So my Dutch friend ended up offering me his Springfield, at least in place of a Lee Enfield for the time being. And insofar, I'm actually happy with the I'm very happy with the craftsmanship that G&G made. And this isn't really the stock. This isn't the stock color of the gun itself. Basically, a lot of work was put by my friend. He stained it, and he painted the metal parts. So overall, I love it. And the good thing about this thing is that sorry about that. It works well with an M1 Garand bayonet. So it's really awesome how I can also do some bayonet charges whenever I'm in the skirmish, and pretty much people kept screaming "Banzai" at me, even though I'm not really doing a Japanese impression. And another one, and this is a lot heavier, and it's one of my personal favorites, and not because it's rare or something, but it's something kind of it kind of reminds me of something. I just can't place it, but it's just something that I've been wanting to at least hold. So bear with me, guys. Ah, God. All right, this is one of my favorites in my collection. This is the Czechoslovakian ZB-26 light machine gun made by Viva Arms. Now, this thing is limited edition in a sense that they only made 250 of these guns, and frankly, I'm very lucky that I actually got a steal from it, because in today's markets it would cost like $1,000 to $1,500. I think Red Wolf still sells them at $900, but I got mine for around $550, and I could say that it's never failed me. Though it did broke down on me on my first game with this, so I ended up upgrading everything: the hop-up assembly, the motor, the gears and whatnot. And I have to say that after it was upgraded, everything was a lot more smoother than what it was, and so I felt like I've finally found a new love for this gun. Being that this is a very rare gun, and how I collect a lot of rare things, this is really one of my trophy guns. And not gonna lie, it looks a lot like the Bren, aesthetically wise, because the British really based their Bren gun from this. They contacted the manufacturers of the ZB-26 saying that we need an LMG if you guys can give us. So what they did was that I think they called in the manufacturers. They went to Britain. I think it was during when Germany occupied Czechoslovakia. So they ended up making the Bren for the British. But still, even though that this was used mostly by the Czechoslovakian army, and the Germans also used it, the Germans prized this gun for its reliability and amazing firepower that they pressed it into service. Now, since there are really no Bren guns in the market right at the moment, I think this can be good for a British, Australian, and Canadian impression. If you don't have a Bren, you might as well get something like this. It looks similar aesthetically, and the thing about this is that it looks nice. One thing to note though is that the quick barrel change doesn't really work on this thing, because for you to actually change the barrel, you need to unscrew a small screw which is located underneath the dust cover. I can't take it out because the screw serves a function of locking the dust cover in place. And yes, you're hearing some noises in the background. Apparently my neighbor is vacuuming her place. And lastly, my personal favorite, the Sten Mark II. Now, the Sten is gas-powered. It's gas blowback made by Northeast. And so far, I really love it. The reason why this is my personal favorite is because it's actually the first airsoft gun that I bought, which is a World War II, which is from World War II. And the thing about it is that it works realistically. It functions like the real Sten. Look at that. It's got a nice kick to it when you fire it. And the fact that when you hold it like this, the gun itself may have a tendency to jam like in the real thing. So I got myself used to holding it through the heat shield like this. Pretty much like what Winston Churchill held it onto the video. Now, if you notice that this isn't the T-stock, which you guys are probably normally used to seeing, because this is the skeletal stock. And the good thing about it is that it's a lot more comfy to use than the T-stock. And one thing why I also kind of gotten very happy, because I wanted to do a World War II Canadian impression, at least to go well with my uniform. With the Canada badge is there. The word Canada is over there below. And I have to say that this works pretty well. So I'm hoping to do at least a review on these airsoft guns of mine, probably after this video, or while the lockdown at least is still in effect. I don't know when I can say that, but I still am hoping that I'm able to find the time and probably the proper equipment, because I really need to buy a proper camera for recording. And as for airsoft videos, I'm still not planning to do some airsoft skirmish videos, but mostly I'm gonna be doing a lot of reviews, particularly of my Sten. So that's it for this video. If you guys have any other questions, just leave in the comments down below. And I really do miss seeing all of you guys, at least through the videos. And very much I hope that you guys are doing well. I'll see you guys in the next video.